Hey my side eyes, it's me Tyler and I'm back with another video. Alright you guys, so y'all, I have been glued to YouTube for the past 2 days. Like, I have been knee deep in this carbonation mess, man. Like, Elijah Bishop, aka Nation Boy, aka Three Guy, aka Nasty Nuts, aka Nature Hips, aka Juicy Booty Duke, is in prison, y'all. He is finally locked up. Well, he not in prison. He in jail. But he is finally locked up. Natiri pressed charges on that ass in Decatur. Decatur police came and got his ass. It was like a SWAT team. It was the FBI. It was everybody. They was surrounding their house. It was just a lot. But they captured his ass. And I am so happy about it. I really was not gonna do a video about Nature Boy because, like I said on the last video I did about him, they always say that people just want clout, they talk about them and this and that. But quite honestly, that's not it. It's like, if you're one of those people that are intrigued by cults and you end up getting a whiff of Nature Boy and you get stuck and keep watching it, then you can't really explain it to other people because it's hard to explain. Number one, they either think you have some sort of liking toward Nature Boy or the cult or something like that. Or number two, it's just too contextual and hard to explain because so much has happened. It's like trying to explain what do they call a soap opera? It's like trying to explain a soap opera but in one sitting. Like, it's no way possible because there's always something going on every episode. In this case, every live stream, it's always something going on over there in that cult. And it's not that you want to, it's not that you want to go over there or you just like Nature Boy. If you're anything like me, then you're super interested in group dynamics. Like, I went to college for sociology, so not only am I interested in cults, I'm interested in all forms of, you know, the psychology of a person once they get into a group. So I'm interested in knowing stuff about prisons, mobs, other cults, things that happen on sports teams that people don't really know about, family units, like the rich and famous family units, like all type of stuff that you wouldn't normally be interested in unless you're interested in, like, you know, sociology and anthropology. Like, basically you'll be interested in watching Nature Boy if you was interested in like how the mind changes once you are into a group. And it's very cut and dry as far as like, it's a cult. Like, they do everything. Like, anytime you have studied cults or whatever, like they're following the exact same rubric or manuscript. So it's not even as, you know, wild as somebody would think it is, because it's basically a cult. Yeah, they're brainwashed. It's a cult. So speaking about cults, the reason why I just finally wanted to do a video is because I just watched the video of Tori. I think her name was Joy when she was there, but I don't know. But I think her name was Tori or Joy, whatever her name is. She just did a video and she was basically driving home the fact that these people that are in the cult now, they are willing participants. You know, they may not have been deviant or bad people before, but right now they are. And I don't know, I just want to, it's like, I don't know, Joy. I know you're saying this because, number one, your baby father is still in the cult, and number two, you experienced a lot of trauma from these people when you were trying to leave. But the reason why I wanted to say something is because in the comments everybody was like, oh, Tori was actually there, so for her to say they're willing participants, that's what I've been trying to say this whole time. You can't feel so. It's like what Tori said gave people validation to villainize the victims of the cult. And I guess I wanted to talk about it. I can't really talk about it with other people like that are in my life because they don't watch Nature Boy. They don't really know. The only thing that they really know about Nature Boy is what I tell them. So I just wanted to kind of talk about what Tory said. Like, are these people innocent or are they guilty, or is it a gray area? Me personally, I feel like it's a gray area because me knowing so much about cults, I know how that shit go down. Like Tory said, just because when they first got there, they may not have been wanting to, go through what they're going through now. But right now, they're basically bad people and they want to abuse each other and they want to do this and that. And it's just like, I don't know, Tory. You're not a expert on cults just because you were there. You just a bitch that went to a cult and you had enough sense to get the hell out of Dodge before you was, slapping each other backwards, back and forth, and being in the corner. Like, you just had enough wherewithal to get the fuck out of there. So you're not like an expert. You don't really know. And these people have hurt you, so of course you're gonna say they're guilty, just like everybody else who left. They feel like, they are guilty of what they do. But at the same time, we have to think about all the other cults that we have seen in history, like them folks that drunk the Kool-Aid in Jonestown. They didn't go to Guyana to end up being in a mass murder of children and suicide of adults. It didn't start off that way. It started off them wanting to go to be free from racial injustices and wanting to, carry out the word of the Lord. They were Christians. The Manson family, I'm sure they did not start out wanting to murder everybody and all of that. Them girls came there to have sex and do drugs and have fun up under Charlie. And Charlie ended up making them kill people. Big Yahweh, Dr. York, those people went because they thought it was like some type of black consciousness thing. They didn't know little kids was about to get raped. They didn't know folks was about to get beat and all type of shit like that. No, it never starts out like that in a cult. Like, you never really know what's going to happen. Things just start getting sinister later. And I have a theory about why people stay, but it's really just my theory and from what, I know about cults. First of all, we all know and we all can agree that these people that are still there, when they first came, their mental health was already fragile. They were super young and they didn't have a very balanced family life to begin with. None of them. They all have basically told their story. So I don't know about Tory's family life, or I don't know if she had support leaving, but they may have been one of the biggest reasons why she was able to get out. The same for Velvet. Velvet had her father to lean on to leave. Some of these people don't have nobody. Some of them do. But we don't know how their family unit actually is. You know what I'm saying? But their mental health was already fragile. And then imagine going somewhere for a spiritual journey when you're like 20, 22 or some shit like that. A few years have passed, 3-4 years have passed. You don't have any home security anymore. You don't have nowhere to stay. You don't have any money. You don't have a job. So you have to continue in your mind. You have to continue to believe in this thought, no matter how deviant or sinister the leader is getting. In your mind, you feel like you have to continue to fight for this cause, because if you finally open your eyes and wake up, then you just a homeless person. You basically just somebody who's been under a spell. You didn't go to college. You didn't look for any higher learning. You don't have any job skills. You just out here on your own, and that could be scary. So I feel like that's why a lot of them still cling to the ID. I also feel like the older people that are there, they realize like what real life is out there on your own. Like True and Aya, they in their 30s. I think they the two oldest people there, and I kind of feel like somewhere in their mind they felt like, whatever this is, it's better than me going out, getting a job, and trying to make it on my own. And I truly believe that I have mental health issues. I truly believe that she is delayed mentally. So to think that she already delayed, and then she like, okay, well, if by me being in this group I don't really have to do anything but comply, they feel like that's better than nothing. And then another example would be Malia. Like, you know, we know her story about how her home life is and where she from and the environment that she from. And I kind of feel like in Malia eyes, maybe she feel like, hell, I could go home and be with an abusive nigga and he's still like, you know, dressing me up and taking me to a big house, and I don't get to go out to eat and I don't get to go overseas and stuff. Like, I could be at home and be in the same predicament but worse. I think that's probably what she thinking in her mind, and not realizing that, you know, there is a better life out there if you try to go get it yourself. You don't have to be with a man to have a better existence. I remember here recently, he was like belittling Malia like he always do. And he was like, why won't you just leave? And she was like, everything leads to you. I guess what I'm trying to say, in my opinion, just because they also have done things to people, don't make them not victims. Like, y'all already know the saying, like, the victim a lot of times turns into the abuser. I think that's definitely what's happening here. And I don't know. I feel like if we are, as a black community, we not really educated a lot on cult dynamics. And I think that has a lot to do with sometimes we are subjected to cults at young ages and stuff, and we wouldn't even admit it. Like, some Christianity sectors are cults. Like, I ain't gonna get into that. I might get into that in another video, but you know, some Christianity sectors are cults. But your grandma in it, your mama in it, your cousin, your whole family life revolve around this specific church or whatever. So you don't want to let it go. It's very common in the black community. Shit, True even mentioned that, but it's like one of them is not worse than the other, because he was basically trying to say, people praise Jesus and this, that. Like, we worship three God the same way God worship Jesus and this, that. Boy, no. It's like, because all Christianity sectors not cults, just some of them are. Y'all are unequivocally, without a shadow of a doubt, a fucking cult. Okay, so rest true. But anywho, just like I was saying, I feel like a lot of black people aren't educated on cults. So when we see them lash out, or when we see them talking stupid and acting like they know what the fuck they talking about, I am guilty of it. Even in my last video, I was talking about how I don't like Velvet and all this other shit, because she was pissing me off, the shit that she was saying to Malia. But here we are over a year later, and Velvet is gone, and I'm very proud of her, and I'm so happy. And it made me think back to, you know, how she used to irritate me, and it was like she really was just a victim too. She was trying to survive in that environment, like they all doing. Like, they say little silly shit, they say mean shit to each other, they slap each other, they do shit, but they're really just trying to survive in the environment that was created. Yes, you can leave, but it's not as simple as you would think. And it happens not just in cults, it happens everywhere. Like, it's funny that Nature Boy always mentioned the military to them and mentioned the police. Like he basically be saying, we're a group like that, so how can we be a cult? We just, you know, basically look out for each other. We protect our own. But the gag is, Nature Boy, the military and the police can be cult-like at times. Like, I don't know if y'all ever heard about the shit that happened in Guantanamo Bay. If y'all want me to talk about it and do a separate video about it, let me know in the comments, because I will. But during the time that, you know, the war in Iraq and Afghanistan was popping and hot, like, they were sending war criminals or people who they suspected to be war criminals to Guantanamo Bay. And the military personnel that was over the prison, they started abusing the prisoners in a way that just heinous, like throwing feces on them, not letting them eat, just all type of crazy shit they were doing. But it's like that group thought got into their mind when it's a small group of them, especially when you're somewhere overseas, like deployed, and it's not a whole battalion of people with you all the time. It's just y'all, one single leader, and your mind started playing tricks on you. Like, they had actual psychologists at the trials of these military people, because it's like, first of all, they didn't allow the military people out of the prison at times. So it was like they were locked up as well. They slept in cells too. So they just, I don't know. Something start playing tricks on your mind when you locked up in the same area all the time. It's basically the same with Nature Boy. Like, he always had them in that house. He had them up at all hours of the night, drilling this shit into their head all day, all night, all day, all night. And then he might whack their ass. And then he might SA one of them. Like, it's a lot, and it will drive you crazy, and it will make you go out of your mind. It will make you do some things that you would not normally have done. And I don't feel like Tory is qualified enough to just say, like, they are outright bad people. I feel like we have enough information in the world about cults right now to know that it's not that simple. Like, we know so many different cults that operate in the same way, and the people who are in there, who were in the cult, they tell you that something was different in my mind. I felt like I had to do this stuff and like they tell you over and over again. And I feel like, if we are going to villainize the people that are in Carbon Nation cult, then we need to also villainize all the other people that's been in cults, all the white people that's been in cults that come out and say, I did this and I feel bad and Well, they wrong too. If Carbon Nation wrong, it's a gray area. Yeah, you was wrong, but they also was brainwashed by a cult. And I want to know what y'all think. Like, do y'all think the Carbon Nation members are wrong for, well, I ain't gonna say wrong, of course they wrong, but do y'all feel like they should be prosecuted for also abusing one another? Do y'all feel like they are willing participants? Do y'all feel like they are not brainwashed at all? They know exactly what's going on, and they accepted that shit, and we shouldn't care any longer. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it, because I want to know. And if y'all like videos like this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later.